Hey, Arisa, it's such a pleasure to have you here today. As both the host and executive producer of Big Brother Canada, you're the driving force behind the show's success, and I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to talk to you today.
I feel very, very, very lucky to be part of such a massive team. I That's why I wouldn't even say I'm the driving force. I think all of the people who work on the show, including our supervising producer, Aaron Brock, our network who like believes all the way in what we're doing, all of the other story producers and editors and shooters and design professionals and painters. And I mean, there's so many people that work on the show behind the scenes. And I think that quality, that attention to detail, that love we have for the game shows up in every single aspect of the show that we do. We phone nothing in. We take it all so seriously, even though, at its best, it's Big Brother is it's everything. It's a comedy, it's a drama, it's a game show, it's a romance. And ultimately the best part about it is that it showcases real people, real Canadians making real decisions, and then seeing how that layers over a big grand prize at the very end. I think every year is so unique. Every year is just fascinating, a really incredible social experiment that we're really proud of and we're really happy it's still here. It's amazing. We're very, 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 I was going to say lucky, blessed, but I think fortunate is the right word.
So, I have a predominantly Big Brother US audience, and I'd love to provide them with some insight into what makes Big Brother Canada unique. So, for someone who's never seen BB Can, how would you differentiate it from Big Brother US? What aspects of BB Can do you believe set it apart and make it stand out? And why should BBUS fans consider tuning into Big Brother Canada?
Well, Big Brother as a franchise has been around a long time, over 20 years. It's in over 40 countries, and every single country has their own twist on it, adds their own flavor. There are some jokes on our show probably that a US audience might not get, which is fun because in the world of the fandom, there's so much crossover between people who watch our show, the US show, BBUK, Australia, and those are just the English language ones. There's so many more around the world. So I think our show very much reflects our country. And I think some of the differences, I would say, a lot, I think, has to do with us sort of being, I feel like, this bizarre hybrid of the US version and the UK version. So we have a little bit more in the way maybe of tasks and twists. I mean, everyone is completely different. Like, I watch BBUS as a fan, and I love what it brings every year because, again, to me it really doesn't matter. Like, the beauty of Big Brother is that it's real people playing these very difficult games and having to make all of these incredibly difficult decisions. Sometimes they're easy decisions. But yeah, I think they're all very different. I think if you love BBUS, it's still Big Brother. So I would always suggest taking a look at some of the other Big Brothers around the world, including ours.
Reflecting on Big Brother Can 11, there were three, almost four instances of house guests choosing to leave the game early. How did these situations impact you and the rest of the crew? And moving forward into casting for future seasons, were any changes implemented in the casting process to mitigate the chances of this happening again?
Again, the difficulty is the other side of the joy of casting real people. There are some circumstances where it is hard to know if you could handle a game like this until you're in it. So I will never sit here and fault anyone for realizing that that is the case. Of course, nobody wants that. Nobody likes that, including those people. So I think if anything, we have to know that people are prepared, going in, their eyes are as open as they can be going in, but to also allow that people are human beings. These are not game bots. These are not characters. These are not people that we've written up in a story room or in a writer's room. So I think you always want to be careful, but you also have to understand that sometimes things happen that are unexpected. And that's to go for any kind of show, let alone a reality show.
Many fans have missed the 24/7 live feeds, which were discontinued after season 10. Is there any chance that they'd ever make a return, or is it something that's unlikely at this point?
I think I'll say what I have said before, as a fan first of Big Brother, and knowing that the feeds are very much a part of what set the show apart. We also have to be realists, and we want to be able to make this show. If I have to choose, I'll always choose the show. I think that's something people know about me, because not everybody can experience that aspect of the show. And to be quite fair, there's an entire genre of reality television that does not include them, right? So that's the honest truth. I think I really am here for what we can bring to the table, and trying to improve constantly the offerings we have for the viewers who want more than just a television show 3 times a week, which also is longer and more than most reality shows as well. So I'm of the mind that sometimes you get what you get and you don't get upset. And I mean that for me. We have to work our hardest at doing what our job is, which is to create the most incredible television show that we can. And then we've got to move on and keep working on that, and keep trying to strive to be better there.
Talking a little bit about the current season, we've seen multiple instances of house guests taking out their own allies, like Vivek taking out Dennis, Avery eliminating Matthew, and Avery also turning on Kayla. Why do you think this is a trend among house guests this season of people targeting their own alliance?
I swear, it's like Survivor up in here. It is confounding. Every year, house guests create their own realities, they create their own rules, and sometimes there is like a story of the season. And I do think that's one of the stories of the season. One is betrayal, and the other is karma. So when you look at the current jury, you can actually go down the line, and each person has turned on the person who left before. I'm amazed by it. I think that's a feature of this season. I don't think they're always like that, but for some reason, I think the gameplay was favoring not really duplicity, but I think if you blindside someone, if you don't let them know that you're doing it before, you actually have more room to play, because you don't have to deal with what that person might say in response to the reasons why, especially if someone has planted the reasons why this person must go. It happens all the time. So I'm kind of amazed by it. Again, I think that is something that I will remember about season 12. This was the season where allies turned on each other almost every week. Pretty incredible. For a big stretch of the game, every single house guest evicted was a renomination. So sometimes they're like, full back doors, and sometimes they were like, the quasi back door where someone played in veto, but they didn't know they needed to win, and then suddenly they're on the block and they go home. It's happened so many times this season, but I love that. I love every season to have its own flavor, and I wonder if next year's cast could look at that and learn lessons from it. I think it's very easy for us to say out here on the other side. Very easy to see mistakes that players are making when they're making them. Very, very difficult when you're in the house, let alone with, Anthony and Victoria, two of just the best players of Big Brother Canada there've been. So, it's interesting. I want to read a whole paper on it. Can some PhD out there do a dissertation, please?
So the question on everyone's mind is an all-star season. So the anticipation for all-stars is palpable among fans and players. Given the overwhelming demand and enthusiasm for it, including probably from yourself, what factors do you think are holding it back from happening? And why do you think we haven't seen it yet, despite the clear desire for it within the community?
I think in my perfect world, we have many, many, many more seasons where we get to explore many, many, many more twists, more concepts, more houses. I think what I love to get to it, of course, obviously, there's so many incredible players that we have. We just have a really, really rich group of house guests who could be amazing, who could just be amazing on an all-star season. And I love season 5, which was a half season, and I loved this season as well. So I want to be able to, like in my perfect world, we hit all of those things, and that is one of them, absolutely.
So building on that topic of all-stars, Anthony and Victoria return for the season. Why invest their second time playing when they could potentially be saved for a future all-star season? And does this potentially rule them out at all for a third chance in All-Star season, or is an All-Star season going to be open to anybody?
I think I'm going to defer to the aspects of the show, of making the show, that are very behind closed doors. I mean, everyone wanted to see them play eventually anyway. If you polled every fan, I think Anthony and Victoria would land somewhere in everyone's sort of like, oh, I wonder what it would be like to see them play again. So we got those, but I don't know. I mean, I hear, Survivor's doing something about eras. Like, I really hope that's true. I love that idea. But that's me. Like, if there's a player who I find fascinating, and we're talking about, extremely high level social and strategic players here, I would watch them play 3, 4, 5 times. So that will never disqualify them for me. But of course, this is not just my show. This is a huge team effort. And we have a really, really big group of people who are creating this incredible television. So yeah, but to answer your question, yeah, I would still love to watch them play again. I'm sorry, it's just what it is.
So looking ahead, what are your hopes and aspirations for the future of Big Brother Canada? Are there any new ideas or innovations that you're excited to explore in future seasons?
I want to keep it real simple. I just hope we get many, many more seasons. Like, this is like, I'm so in love with this show. I'm so in love with the creativity that our team is able to play around with. I don't think you see a lot of TV that is this extra and over the top. And our supervising producer and executive producer, Aaron Brock, says it all the time. Like, this is the most creative show in the country. And every year we prove that it feels like the first time to us. I don't think this excitement will ever go away. So before I get too excited about all the different things we want to try, and there's a long list of things we want to try, I just hope we're around for a long time, because there's nothing like it in this country. There's nothing like it that makes it to 12 seasons in this country. It's very different than the US. Our population is 10 times smaller, right? We have different constraints than other countries do. But I think you would never be able to guess, based on the quality and the level of attention we pay to making the show the absolute greatest show we can make every year. So my wants and my desires are pretty simple, because it all starts from, I just hope we get to do it again and again and again.
So we're just days away from the finale of the season. The anticipation is high. With your insights into the game and the house guests, who do you think is the best chance of emerging as the winner, and who do you predict will be Canada's favorite house guest?
Okay. So for your first question, so I don't do predictions generally. And the reason why is because I really have such a fondness for every house guest who plays. So I'm devastated equally when each one is evicted, and I am just as thrilled when someone wins, because for that person, that journey either has ended or has ended in, maybe one of the best days of their life, right? And to me, it's such a privilege to be part of that. So, I mean, I can see a path for anyone winning depending on who they're sitting beside. And not just who they're sitting beside, but how they got to where they're sitting. If somebody, say, for example, takes out probably arguably the most dominant player left in the game, Anthony, that person might have a great case. But if they're sitting beside someone who is maybe more liked, maybe that doesn't matter as much. Like, that's all possible. I think I've gone through like every different final 2 permutation, and I've also considered that they could come out with different results. So I'm excited that it's a small jury this year. I'm excited that everyone in the jury really played this game. They really, really played. They know these house guests, and they're, of course, in their feelings, and they have a right to be. They played a really hard game, and now they're on the other side, but their work is not done, because, of course, they're going to be part of the jury. So I'm thrilled, and anything can happen. I know I say it a lot on the show, but it's true. Anything can happen, and that, to me, is a great finale.
Thanks so much, Arisa. It's been a pleasure to chat with you today, and I'm eagerly looking forward to what the future of the show holds under your incredible leadership.
Oh my gosh, God bless. Thank you so much for watching and being part of it. And I know, like, it's such a big family. It's not just the people who make the show or who are on the show or watch the show, but there's this huge ecosystem of people who cover it And I have nothing but respect for all of our Big Brother press. So thanks again. I appreciate the time.